Today, join with us to talk about the topic merits and demerits of online learning is Dr. K.J. Verghese, Associate Professor of English from Christ College, Irinjalakuda. He is an educationist who has done his researches in the area of digital learning. Welcome, sir. Because of pandemic, the colleges and schools are closed and the online teaching learning in the practice. So how do you see this and what are your comments on this?
Okay, a very good question. It's COVID, the pandemic, which has accelerated the digital transformation of education. See, almost all educational agencies like UGC, NAC, NCRT, ICRT, and all other, AICT, all were trying to bring in this change to incorporate technology into education. And of course, they were getting succeeded. But let me tell you, it is COVID who has brought in digital transformation of education. And especially during the pandemic, when the colleges are closed, when the schools are closed, the only way for teachers to reach students is, of course, uh, online teaching learning process or the digital platforms. So, and it's often said that, teaching is often reaching. So we need to reach the students, and I think now teachers, in a kind of unprecedented way, is using all the platforms, both synchronous and asynchronous platforms, to reach their students and teach them. And our students are digital natives. So to a certain extent for them, it is quite easy maybe to pick up. But many of our teachers are digital immigrants and not that tech savvy. So they are getting used to it. And I should say they are trying their best to teach their students through online platforms.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And could you tell us the merits and demerits of online learning?
The merits of online learning, see, of course, it is just like two sides of the same coin. See, we have a lot of merits, I should say, because we are in an information age, and students are digital natives, as I said, so they always expect a kind of teaching learning process where online learning dominates. At the same time, see, teachers may be finding it a bit difficult, but once it started, it's not that difficult. And as far as online learning is concerned, there are a lot of merits because online learning often gives a chance for lifelong learning. See, our system is often we learn maybe our degree and our PG, we stop learning and then start working. But online learning makes it possible because online learning is often learning anywhere at any time. So naturally, if at all you are employed, you can use this kind of learning process so that in order to get information and in order to get updated. So that's one what do you call merit of this particular process. At the same time, it also have demerits because we took to this online learning so vigorously with the coming of this pandemic, this COVID. But at the same time, demerits means there is, of course, the digital divide. Many of our students may not have proper gadgets, and bandwidth is a problem. Power situation, even that is a problem. Internet connectivity is a problem. So there are such problems which we will have to face because ours is a developing country. We have a digital divide. But at the same time, and another important thing is that many of our students and teachers have this teacher taught mindset. So it's not that easy to change, okay, that mindset and come or practice this online teaching learning process. Then of course we miss a lot of things like what do you call the emotional aspect of teaching learning process, and often there is social disengagement. The students miss their friends, their classroom atmosphere, etc. So these are also some of the demerits. But I would suggest we should go for a kind of blended learning, okay, where we have both online and face-to-face components. Then I think it would be a perfect what do you call combination, where we can have both online and face-to-face learning, the traditional classroom situation. Okay.
Thank you, sir. And do you think all the teachers and students are quite comfortable with this online classes? Or how can they make it comfortable?
Okay, that's also a very important question. I think I just mentioned it in my above, when I said it. See, let me say most of the teachers and many of the students are not that comfortable just because they are not used to it. Okay, once
Yes.
they practice it, I think it would be the order of the day, because the teachers, as I said, I would like to again mention about the mindset. Okay, many of the teachers, okay, we are not used to it, and the students, okay, they also have the same teacher taught mindset. They think that teaching learning can take place only in the classrooms, okay, and often they may have a unconducive home environment where they cannot properly what do you call learn. There's a lot of problems we have, okay, and hence to a certain extent, let me tell you, but it's a bit problematic for both teachers and students. But even UGC now has recommended 60% of what do you call face-to-face learning and 40% of online learning. Okay, and it also suggests a kind of flipped classrooms. Okay, where we can often give the information at or in the online classes. Information means what was happening earlier in the classroom situation can happen online. And when we speak of what you call the cognitive pyramid, the first, or the lower cognitive levels like understanding and remembering can be given through, online classes, what traditionally happened in our classrooms, and we can have more time, or we can, spend more time with our students and engage them in evaluating and also analyzing, etc. And the creative, engagement, etc., especially during the classroom hours. Okay, that's a kind of flipped classroom model which we can very well, utilize.
Thank you, sir. And what do you think the future of online learning? Is it going to stay? Or when the pandemic is over, is it possible that we go back to the face-to-face teaching learning mode?
Okay, I think it is going to stay. Now our teachers are used to it, and our educational agencies are supporting it. And naturally, it is lifelong learning, and especially what do you call a good teacher is a person who brings world into the classroom. See, the earlier concept was a good teacher is a person who is very much dedicated, who considered four walls of his classroom his world. Okay, but entirely the concept is different, especially in Industrial Revolution 4.0, where a good teacher is a person who brings world into the classroom. And a teacher can bring world into the classroom only if he uses these latest technologies and ICTs. Not only that, I would suggest teachers that what we need is a kind of mindset. The skill set will surely follow. What we need is a mindset for this change, and what we need very much is a human way. Okay, see, we have software and hardware in plenty, but humanware is individual teachers' ability to organize classes with available technology with the right pedagogical uses. And each teacher should have a kind of it's often said to a TPAC. TPAC. That is, at the same time, a teacher should have technological knowledge, pedagogical knowledge, and also the content knowledge. And if a teacher updates like that, I'm sure that this is going to stay, and soon brick universities will be replaced by click universities. We see that there are a lot of virtual universities offering. So it's the movement from brick to click. in the coming times, and online teaching learning process is going to stay. That's what I think. Uh, okay, another aspect is this that the extracurricular activities to a certain extent cannot be done online. And I can very well say, recently we had conducted a debate competition and to find out best media person in India, okay, from among the students of colleges and universities, and it was a grand success. It was well conducted, and everyone felt that it was a face-to-face program. So it's possible. Online, art festivals are being conducted. It's a success. Of course, as far as our sports items are concerned, it's not that easy to be conducted. But again, let me stress that point that we are going for blended learning, not 100% online learning. So when we are in the new normal, and when the normal comes back, we can have both. We can have sports. We can, of course, arts items can be again conducted maybe at international level in the online platforms. But of course, we can have sports and other extracurricular activities very effectively conducted, maybe offline. At the same time, we can have this teaching learning process and things online. So I always recommend a kind of blended learning, as I said earlier. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And let us conclude our discussion here. And thank you so much for spending your valuable time to educate us about the online teaching learning. Thank you, sir.